All right, welcome. It is Saturday, April 26th, and it is time for I Read the Clermont Sun so you don't have to. And we have an edition today that is from the date on it's April 24th, Thursday, April 24th. I think that means the press deadline was Tuesday, April 22nd. And it's probably going to be a pretty quick deal because not only is it the Clermont Sun, so there's not much to talk about, but also it is this particular edition is smaller than any edition that I have gone through so far. It's only 12 pages. Previously, they've all been 14 or 16 pages. So we're slipping, slipping, slipping. So let's go right to it. And if you're bored by the week news content, just remember at the end, I'm going to have a review of the Jungle Gyms ad, which is actually the most useful part of the Clermont Sun when you get mail delivery of the Clermont Sun, or you perk it up at the newsstand where they have an insert for Jungle Gyms, which is a great store. But they don't have it when you do the online edition. And I signed up and I've been doing the online editions just because it's easier to show. But I go ahead and add the Jungle Gyms ad. Frankly, I think Jungle Gym should be pissed that their ad should be part of the online edition. Just because I don't know if Jungle Gyms realizes, but the whole print circulation, mailed circulation, subscriber circulation is about 1,100 people for this, and I don't know how many gets sold at the newsstand. You can buy it at Walmart. You used to be able to buy it at Meijer. You can buy it at the gas station by First Baptist Church, and I'm assuming you might be able to buy this at Jungle Gym since they advertise in it. But any event, let's get right to it. Here is here's the newspaper for this week, April 24th edition. And, what's, so let's go. Let's just go. I point out every week that, hey, Meg and Allie and the people at the Sun, it's not Twitter anymore. See this graphic up here? It's not Twitter. It's not been Twitter for a long time. So why don't you change the graphic to be the actual social media platform you're talking about? Okay, then let's go. Then there's an article. Megan Alley, who had no articles in the reporter who had no articles in the last Clermont Sun, has her obligatory two articles in this one. And they're basically throwaways largely, but there's one on statewide and local questions and issues. And it's just a bunch of cut and paste blather in here. And I love these things like, the two things are there's this bond issue that you should vote no on for the state. And there is the few places that have levies or taxes for schools, West Clermont being one of them. Then everything else here is like liquor options, which is to allow someplace to sell liquor on, whatever, through a drive-through on this, certain days, stuff like this. And those almost always pass. It's kind of anachronistic that they have to go to, to the voters when they do these things. Okay. So, but you love these things. Like I love this West Clermont one here where it's, there's a West Clermont School District. And then it's like, because we just put complete filler in this paper. You got to love here where I'm going to highlight, they just list all the precincts. Okay. Like, so as if 99.9% of people would not remember what their precinct was. They would know if they were in West Clermont School District. They don't need the paper to tell them, oh, by the way, in case you're confused, here's the precincts that are West Clermont School District. It's just filler because the paper is so terrible and they don't do any reporting. So they just have to cut and paste stuff in to fill it up. All right. So that's her article, on these things. Typically, I didn't look at this that close, but let's see if we scan this real quick. Can we see any quotes from local people? For example, on issue 2, okay, which is this bond thing to be able to provide largesse at the taxpayer's expense through debt for development projects. But I see this part here. Issue 2 is supported by county engineers. Well, let's see. Did she call our county engineer? Did she call our county engineer? No. Did she call anybody? Did she call anybody locally and ask them? I mean, that's how terrible this is. That is how absolutely terrible this newspaper is. that there's nothing local in these things. It's just boilerplate. Okay. Then she's got a second article, her obligatory second article, which is about getting rid of the coroners as a elected office, and they would be appointed by the county commissioner. The formatting here is terrible. If you ever were, I mean, this is like I would have gotten an F in my high school journalism class for layout like this, um, where this big ad is right in the middle of things. But anyway, this has some local content in that Brian Treon, I guess, gave a comment because he gets elected, and I guess he's nervous because if he weren't getting elected, the county commissioners would probably appoint some crony, and that's the problem with all of these things. By the way, why would the county commissioners? Frankly, the coroner would have more to do with law enforcement. That's where it would really be important to have a qualified coroner. And I can guarantee you, David Painter doesn't understand law enforcement. He only understands cronyism. So this would make it into a crony position. Obviously, people don't know. We don't have anybody usually run other than Mr. Treon, but it's just another crony. It's going to turn it, if this goes through, it probably will. It's just going to turn into some crony position where idiots like David Painter are appointing some doctor that's their buddy so they can get some cash. I don't think that people realize that the coroners, there's a few counties where the coroners are actually very on the ball, and they kind of have labs, and they actually make money by being the coroner function for a lot of counties. So, like Hamilton County does that, Montgomery County does that. So, realistically, most counties don't do their own real coroner functions. They have the autopsies and stuff done by an adjacent county that has a more sophisticated lab to do that. And frankly, the coroner function, this is going to turn it probably into a crony thing. It should probably be regionalized, that you'd have like 5 or 6 or 7 regional coroners that would be out there versus 88 separate coroners for every county. Okay. All right. But that would involve actual innovation and problem solving, which we know our elected officials don't do. Now we have our obligatory page 2 community calendar of stuff you're not going to go to. And then some more ads. Let me pop out on this page. So this is page 2 is just the community calendar. So page 1 was Meg and Allie's 2 articles and some ads. Page 2 is the community calendar, which is stuff I guess people submit. Then we go into the all submitted content. The Clermont Sun, where the government writes its own news. So this is the New Richmond Exempted Village School District, Paul Daniels, and then merchants promote somebody. Isn't that fantastic? This is news in Clermont County. The bank promoted somebody. I didn't know about this, that this was a key thing. The funny thing is, again, there's absolutely no localized content. There's no effort made. So, for example, this Paul Daniels guy, why wouldn't somebody call him up to ask him, how do you stand on this LGBT book issue? How do you stand on this? How do you stand on that? Just to add some local content. Megan, it's not that effing hard. It is not that effing hard. You take the press release, you do something. Don't just reprint government press releases. I get that the Clermont Sun is marginal, doesn't have any money, probably going to go out of business soon, would definitely go out of business without the government payola to support it. But, you can just do a little bit to make these articles have some relevance and get rid of this crap. Nobody fucking cares whether merchants banks supported it. I congratulate Sherry Smith on getting promoted, but this is not news. This is not news. Okay. All right. Now we've got the crossword, Jungle Jim's ad. Now we're up to opinion. We have the history corner with this guy, Gary Knapp. And I don't know, he's about the Medal of Honor. That's great. I kind of blew past this because I'm all for the Medal of Honor. It's just I'm not sure that this is the big thing. We got this stuff that's just filler in the Clermont Sun, and not stuff that's pertinent to local events, stuff going on. It's basically like news for brain dead people that just want to read pablum. What's funny is I noticed on this one, the very last line says, in future articles, we will profile several local recipients, including 2 from Clermont County. Isn't a local recipient for Clermont County, wouldn't a local recipient be some from Clermont County? Who are local recipients that aren't from Clermont County when it's a Clermont County newspaper? Okay. Then we have John's 40% of a page every week guy. It always is about more money for veterans. Never. I'm still waiting for John just to write one article. Come on, John, just one article about how we need to cut waste, fraud, and abuse in VA functions and have proper focus on delivery and efficiency and delivery. We need an Elon Musk type model for efficiency, not just throw money at the problem, but not for John. John's just about money, 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 money. So he talks about 7 bills here. I highlight them because they're all this. What do they call it in 1984 newspeak, where everything is like propagandistic, and So look at the names of these bills. House Resolution 877, deliver for veterans, okay, versus the Don't Deliver for Veterans Act. House Resolution 970, fairness for service members, okay. House Resolution 983, Veterans Education and Transparency Act. Okay. House 983, Montgomery GI Bill related service, Tuition Fairness Act. We always have to have these words: fairness, deliver. These adjectives and adverbs to try to make it sound, to put a positive spin on everything. So 1039, clear. Okay. Prioritizing Veterans Survivors Act, prioritizing the Major Richard Starr Act. Now doesn't have that kind of thing, but you just have all these things. Most of these, I don't know, probably these are good. I'm not saying these are bad, but this is like typical, like politicians. Then they can go back and say, oh, I voted for the Montgomery GI Bill Services Related Tuition Fairness Act because I'm for fairness. It's typical. This would be, this is the typical type of pablum that politicians like, where they just say they voted for something that, I don't even know why these always have to be things. Okay, then there's an op-ed by a guy from West Clermont, a student, about something called SALT. And I appreciate the article. Good on you, Garen. But I just want to make a comment here. So what does SALT do? Student athlete leadership team. So what, and then what is the kind of leadership? So I highlighted here, we've picked up trash after games, written notes of appreciation to staff, and organized donations for children in foster care. And then it's later, he says, to me, that's what leadership looks like. No, that's what service looks like. That looks like what volunteerism looks like. In today's world, we've gotten into this pablum that somehow picking up trash is a leadership thing. No, it's a volunteer thing. It's a service thing. It's a good thing. It's all good. Leadership is things like, standing against slavery. It's not just this pablum things. I think schools dumb down kids to not understand what leadership really means. And leadership becomes doing things in service to the establishment. Okay. That's what the establishment wants you to believe leadership is. So, standing up against abuse of animals at the animal shelter, that's just a troublemaker. But volunteering to walk dogs, that's leadership. That's leadership. That's not leadership. Okay. Leadership is standing out on issues that are important to drive change. That's positive change. So when I went to Garen, give me a ring or message me. I went to McNicholas. I can point back to then where we were having leadership. We were trying to stop propaganda. I went to McNicholas High School on, at the time, things like the Nicaraguans. The nuns all loved the Nicaraguans. They were like Jesus, communist Jesus. And so just don't get confused that doing volunteer stuff or picking up trash is somehow leadership. That's volunteerism. Okay. And it's wonderful. It's good. It's positive. But this should be the student athlete, volunteer team, or the student athlete, help the community team. These, understand the difference between the terms. Okay, let's keep rolling here. Now we're up to my man, Jake Dowling. Jake, when if the sun goes out of business, give me a shout. Because you kick ass. Okay. So Megan can barely write an article and they're like pablum bullshit. And this guy, Jake, just really nails it. I mean, he nails it every week. Every week. He's got multiple pages of content. It's all it's all very localized. This is about the West Clermont cheer team at some at some competition. Looks like at Disney or something, and that they placed, and that's fantastic. Very, he didn't get to go. Unfortunately, I guess Jake didn't go to the actual cheer competition, which I get. So it's a photo provided there. Got the names all localized, all localized. Then we have Lady Wolves. So we've got a really good women's edition here because we've got women's cheer, women's softball. Again, Jake, look at this. Jake Dowling, photo from Jake Dowling. So Jake Dowling kicks ass. He just keeps delivering, and get stuff done. You got softball scoreboard. Okay. So think of how much work Jake Dowling has to do to just compile this stuff, even if the schools are providing it, to compile it, add value, make it localized. Megan, you could take a lesson. You don't seem to do shit. I mean, you do like terrible, terrible. Then he's got kind of like a opinion piece or commentary piece on, I think they call it a column talking about Easter. Okay. Remember, Megan, the article on the Easter edition was only about Passover and the Jewish faith, which is good, but there was not a Christian faith article in the Easter edition of the paper. And then we've got like something on, Loveland baseball. Okay, again, look at these pictures. Jake Dowling. This guy must be all over the place. You can tell this guy is really working hard to provide you good sports coverage and news. We've got another scoreboard. Okay. Then you've got at New Richmond. Once again, Jake Dowling. Okay. The guy's all over the place. Okay. Megan, you suck. I mean, be realistic. And Jake is the king. I mean, look at all these pictures. He's got pictures. He's writing so Jake Dowling is an example of what you can do. It's if you are a person that does newspapers and news, you're used to that every day. I mean, think about like a real reporter. You have to kick out a piece and it has to have your pictures, has to have this. Every day you're doing something, you're getting assigned. Or even TV reporters, every newscast, they have to have something. Megan, where the hell are you? Okay, now we're going to get into the ad section. We're up to page 8. Then we got the whole bottom starts the payola. The payola is that government needs to put ads because of the law, these public notice ads into a paper like the Clermont Sun. This is then how the government basically buys off the newspaper because, for example, Clermont County could always say, hey, Sun, if you report something negative about us, we will temporarily move our ads to the Enquirer, and then you go out of business. Okay, how do you like that deal, Sun? So that's how the payola works. This is so antiquated that these ads have to be in here. Now there's some classifieds. I wonder if people actually do sell it fast in the classifieds in the Clermont Sun. I'm sure this works so much better than 18 million online marketplaces to sell stuff. Then you got Matt's take. So every week this Matt guy has an article usually on the Reds or something, and this seems like it's Reds. I didn't really look at it that much close. That's page 11 of the paper. More ads, and then veterans piece on the DAV. But again, it's a submitted piece. So other than Jake Dowling and the obligatory 2 Megan bullshit articles that have no real decent local content where in them, like she can't even think of a question. I mean, let me go back here just for a second. Where are we on time here? Okay, I'm going to go back to her articles for a second. So she has this, but she doesn't ask, she has on the, just to give you how bad Megan Alley is, does it not register in her mind that if you're going to do issue 2, she has in here the county engineer. Why don't she call the local Republicans, call the local Democrats, call the county engineer and just ask them, where do you stand on this? And give me a quote for an article. That would not take that long. And then the article would actually have something localized in it, not just boilerplate. And so, look at here. She's got a quote from Scott Osliger, from Republican of North Canton. Well, where's Adam Byrd? Where's Gene Schmidt? I mean, how bad of a reporter do you have to be that it never crosses? Does it not cross Megan Alley's mind that she should go talk to somebody locally about these things? I mean, it's just asininely bad journalism. In high school, this would not pass as journalism. In McNicholas High School journalism class, where I was the editor of the paper, this would not pass as journalism. It's a joke. Now, but on the other hand, my man Jake, he is all over it. Okay. So he does like 3 pages, full pages worth of content with his own pictures, where he's really had to work the information into real news. So Jake, don't let Megan dumb you down ever. You're doing a great job, and people should be embarrassed, and you should get paid the most. And when if the Sun goes out of business, give me a shout, or even before. Okay. You have a talent for doing sports stuff and you have passion for it that I'm impressed by. And I appreciate that you actually seem to care. And these other people involved with the Sun don't seem to really care. Okay. So that's it for the paper. That was it. Only 12 pages this week. Only 12 pages, not 14 or 16. We're a major county. If anything, if it was a quality paper and people were cared about it, the people that are doing editorial should want more pages, right? They should want more because there's way more stuff going on in Clermont County. You could almost formulaically go through Miami Township, Union Township, the big townships, at least county government. Every week there should be stuff on those of something that's going on from police work, activities, developments, decisions being made, etc. All right. So with that said, we're going to close out here by looking at the Jungle Gyms ad. Let me. Okay, here we go. Got my Jungle Gyms music on. Let's go to the Jungle Gyms page. All right, here we go. Here's the ad. Jungle Gyms ad, and I looked at it real quick here, and I tell you, like this 99 cent. I don't know. 7-Up is usually a little bit cheaper price, but I mean that's a great price. When I was in high school, I worked at the United Dairy Farmers in Mount Washington, and we would have 2 liters on sale for 99 cents. So that was 1980, 83. Okay, 93. So 40 years later, you can still get some stuff for 99 cents on a 2 liter in at Jungle Gyms. Okay. And all right, so let's see. Of course, I always bring up they got great meats, but I don't know the prices of meats really. So I don't know to say what's a good deal, what's a bad deal. They have a podcast. Their podcast is probably more valuable than the Clermont Sun. By the way, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just like Jungle Gyms, and so I'm just giving my own. Nobody asked me to do anything. I just want to highlight that this is the best part of the Clermont Sun newspaper. Much better than Megan Alley's reporting is the Jungle Gyms ad. Maybe Megan puts together the Jungle Gyms ad. Maybe she can't, doesn't have time to do actual reporting because of the work on the Jungle Gyms ad. Okay, I doubt it though. I don't think she could do it. I mean, it's pretty good layout on the Jungle Gyms ad. So we got Gold Star chili cans, $2.99. I can eat either Gold Star or Skyline. My wife will only Skyline basically. Let's see. I saw there was something on here I wanted to highlight. Hope I didn't pass it already. Is a good deal. I highlighted the pop. Don't forget Senior Day Golden Buckeye card. It says on their website you need a Golden Buckeye card for Senior Day. And I must have passed. There was something on here that I saw that I wanted to highlight. I don't know. I got to the end because here's the beer and wine at the end of the Jungle Gyms ad. Let me see if I can figure out what else I wanted to highlight here. I don't know, it's escaping me. But, lots of good stuff at Jungle Gyms. You got the 99 cents on the 7-Ups. You've got, I swear there was something else I wanted to highlight that for me would be something I would run to Jungle Gyms to get. Don't forget also that there's the Jungle Gyms brand stuff like their bakery. I've never actually had bakery stuff from Jungle Gyms that maybe somebody gave it to me like at a party or something, but I've never had it. And I also like that they have the ethnic, and nationality for like Mexican, Italian, et cetera, in here. Well, I guess I can't remember what it was I wanted to highlight, or maybe it was just the pop and I'm just doing a bit here. But get on out the Jungle Gyms. They sponsor the Clermont Sun. They don't sponsor me. And I think they're probably wasting their money with the Clermont Sun. They could find a lot better ways. I bet you Jungle Gyms could quit doing its insert in the Clermont Sun. Like quit doing it for 2 months and have absolutely no notice of any business change. Absolutely no notice of any business change because I don't think the Clermont Sun is driving an ounce of business towards Jungle Gyms. And by the way, you can get this. I get the PDF off of the internet. Okay. They have it on the internet, so you can go look at it anytime you want. right out there on the internet. Okay, so that is, I think, it. It is 9:27, so we haven't even used up a half hour to go through the Clermont Sun, and I kind of stalled there a little bit on the Jungle Gyms ad. But thank you for tuning in to hear I read the Clermont Sun, so you don't have to. I think a lot of times, people now realize you could tune in, but there's really no reason to read the Clermont Sun. There's no reason to even listen to me to highlight the articles in the Clermont Sun because it's basically, unless you got like a parakeet or something like that. I mean, you'd be better off just to get an Enquirer for a bird cage liner, or just go to Jungle Gyms or one of the other stores and pick up some of these free flyers for groceries, and then you can use those to line bird cages and stuff like that as well. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of the Saturday. Yeah, and see you next week on I Read the